friends, it's Kathy Clement with Kathy by Design. Welcome to Wonderful Wednesday. This is a weekly tutorial that I do here on my YouTube channel. This week we're working with our two November collections, Maja Design Christmas Nostalgia and Graphic 45 Deck the Halls. I was really happy to find that these two collections are like kissing cousins. The hue, the color palette, it really works together, and I'm having a lot of fun creating with these. And I love blue at Christmas. Well, I love all Christmas colors, but I wanted to make a blue project. And the reason I like that is because it will travel right into wintertime. So you can make this and leave it out and you have it up all winter long. And I went through my Graphic 45 papers, the 8x8 and the 12x12, and I pulled the blues. I started pulling blues because this is what I want to work with. So I have these snowflakes, I have these journal cards, these snowflakes with the blue and beige. Of course, we've got some images, these darker blue snowflakes, which are so gorgeous, and images, the Nutcracker, which has some red in it, and then these 3x4s. And then I went through the Christmas Nostalgia and did the same thing. And I just want you to see how well these paper collections work together. And now what I want us to make is an explosion box, but not an ordinary explosion box, a Kathy by Design explosion box. Most explosion boxes that I've seen are limited to a 12x12 piece of paper that you then score into 9 3x3 sections. But I wanted something bigger. I wanted something that could actually really be used to hold photos. So I kind of designed this for my son's birthday this year and did a really fun steampunk box for him, and he loved it. So you're going to start with 4 5.5 by 8.5 panels of nice heavy cardstock. This is Stampin Up. I think it's called Misty Moonlight. And you're going to score each of these on the long side at 5.5. And then, of course, you will need to crease those fold lines very well. And when you're creasing a scored line, if you look at it, one side is indented like a valley. The other side pops out like a bump. Fold into that bump. You're always going to get a cleaner fold when you fold into the bump. You know, your paper's less likely to go cattywampus or be short on one side. It just seems to work better. Now we're going to cut a bottom for our box. And this is kind of to serve as a guide. We're going to go 5, just one tick under 5.5. All right, there's the 5.5, and I just went one line down from that. I'm going to come in with my adhesive, and you can use whatever you like. I'm going to use my glue gun. This has Dry's Clear glitter ink in it. And I'm going to lay this flat because it's easier. And I'm going to bring this right up to the fold. Not over the fold, but right up to it. And that makes up that little 1/16 of an inch. And then I'm going to come over here and do the same thing on all 4 sides. And this is going to build our box. This will be our box. Make sure I'm straight, make sure I'm lined up right where I want to be, because it is important that the box is square. There we go. Now this side. So now you see these sides will come up like this, and we're going to build a lid that will hold them in place. But this is such a nice size box. You can actually put it out as a display piece. I just love this size, and I was so excited when I made this one for my son this summer. All right, so now we're going to make the lid. And the basic formula, I make my lids a little bit differently too. But basically I take my 5.5 by 5.5, and the lid has to be slightly bigger. It has to be 1/8 of an inch bigger. You don't want it more than 1/8 of an inch bigger. It's too wobbly, but 1/8 of an inch bigger seems to work just right. So I have cut out of similar 12 by 12 cardstock. It's not an exact match, but this is a Cartabella. This is 9 5/8 by 9 5/8. And we're going to put this on our score tool. And if you've ever built a box bottom, this is very similar to building a box bottom. And we're going to score it at 1 and 2 on each side. All right, and this piece in the middle, I'll just fold these in so you can see, is now 5 5/8. So it's going to be a nice snug fit. Before we do all the scoring, I'm going to go ahead, because I find it easier to cut before you score. Before you crease. It's harder to cut on a creased piece of paper. All right. So we're going to cut out these 4 outer rectangles. We're just going to remove them completely. So now that we've done that, we can come in with our bone folder and we can crease these scored lines really well. Oh, I forgot. Yeah, we also, getting ahead of myself. So on this inside score line, just cut straight up to the horizontal line. So it's kind of like making a box pocket. It's just 4 sides instead of 2. And you can also use a precision trimmer to cut this if you want to, but I find the scissors work really well. Okay, now score it. And now crease everything really well. And these little pieces are going to be like scored as one. You're not going to score crease each of the scored lines. It's just going to be one line. All right, and one more cut that I forgot. You need to come in on each of these little tabs and just cut out a triangular piece from the corner. And this is just going to make it fit, oops, inside the lid better. So what you end up with this method of making the lid is this really pretty rolled top. It just looks really sharp, and I like it better than the ones that just, you know, have the raw edge. You have no raw edge on this. You'll see what I mean as we put this together. All right, so now we're going to flip these little legs up like that, and you're going to come in with your adhesive. And this is actually going to glue just like as if it was a standard box, okay? And you want to make sure your corners are nice and square. So just check that out, all right? And you're going to do this on all 4 sides. Yep. And then this last one. All right. Now, we're just I'm gonna fold these out momentarily, and you'll see why. We're going to put adhesive on this flap. And this is going to fold right down inside the box lid. So you see you have this beautiful rolled corner that is completely finished. There are no raw edges. Now, sometimes you have to come in with a scissor and just take the tiniest, skinniest little triangle off the corners to make sure that it's going to be able to fold in. See, just this little tiny, not a lot, just like a shave. The first one you usually don't have to do that on because it's the first one to go in, but those corners can get a little bit crowded, and it also helps the box lid fit the box better. All right, so now we've taken care of that little detail. Make sure that this is secure. But the other thing this does is it strengthens the corner of the box and just makes it a lot more resilient to use. So see, this one folds in, and you just want to press that into place. There you go. So see how nice this is? It's just really pretty. You may want to ink your edges just a little bit because depending on your paper, this is not a solid core paper. It has a white core. The Cardabella has a white core, so you do get a little bit of white showing through, but you can take like faded denim or some other color. And we'll just pop this on here and make sure that we got a good fit. It looks like it's going to be perfect, y'all. Look at that. Couldn't be better. There's our box and our box lid. So now what we have to do is cut liners because we want this to be strong. And we want to line this inside and outside. I'm going to use a silver metallic layer. And I'm going to go for the lid, which is 5 5/8. I'm probably going to go 5 3/8 by 5 3/8. And for these sides, we're going to go 7/8. And then these panels, which are 5 1/2 by 5 1/2, we're probably going to go 5 3/8 by 5 3/8. On the inside, we're going to we're still going to line it, but we're going to do something different, so don't do that yet. And if you want to line the inside with blue instead of beige, you can just cut that to like 5 and probably not quite 5 5/8, just a tick under 5 5/8. But I'm going to leave mine. I think it's fine. We might put something up there. I don't know. So go ahead, get your liners cut, get them applied into the outside, and then we'll start working on the inside together. All right, so I put some liners down. I was going to show you just the silver, but I was afraid with the camera it would blind you because it really is mirror cardstock. So this is a 5 3/8 by 5 3/8 inch square of the mirrored cardstock. And then I also put it on the sides. So on the sides, it is 5 1/2 by 7/8. And then for the patterned paper, I chose this from the Christmas Nostalgia, these pretty little ornaments. And this is 5 1/4 inch square. And this is the reverse side. These are the offcuts from this. And these are 5 3/8 by 3/4 inches. So you can see I did that all the way around. And the box lid becomes very, very sturdy once you add all these layers. So this is actually the outside of the box. And on the sides, I did, hold on. I thought I had written that down, but I'm going to have to double check myself. Yeah. On the sides, I did 5 1/4 inch squares of the silver, and then 5 1/8 inch squares of the blue snowflake from the Graphic 45. And then to cover up the sort of messy part where all those flaps came together, I just cut another 5 3/8 inch square of the blue cardstock. So this goes like this. On the inside, this silver is 5 3/8 square, and then this is 5 1/8 inch square. So these, it's amazing how much sturdier it gets with each layer of paper that you add. And you put your lid on, and it's just a really good fit. That is like the perfect measurement for the lid, and it's so cute, even just like this. It's adorable. So sometimes you have to kind of go in and pull this one out a little bit. All explosion boxes are like that. But now I want to do the insides with you. And this is going to be the top. So the top is going to be like this. So this is going to be facing me. And these are going to be waterfall elements. No, these are going to be the waterfall elements, sorry. And these are going to be pop-up flaps. So for the pop-up flaps, you're going to cut a 5 3/8 inch by 12 inch panel of the Graphic 45 snowflakes with the white background. And you're going to score these on the long side at 5 3/8 and 9 1/8. And fold this one like a valley and this one like a mountain, all right? And I want to put gussets on this because I want behind this to be a little hidden pocket where we can put maybe a cute little pull-out folio. Just trying to maximize the space. So these are 1 inch by 5 1/4. And if you've never done a gusset before, it's just a folded piece of paper. I've scored this in half. The folded edge goes against the cut edge of your paper, and just use your fingers to make everything flush. You can see it disappears, but it's right up against the edge. And this gives you the full width of that panel. So you can put a nice sized insert in there. And I'm not going to bother with one on the bottom because the piece we're going to put in is not going to fall through. It's not like we're just putting a little tag or something in there, all right? So this folds up, this folds down, and we're just going to put our adhesive on the back of these little flaps. That's the only place you're going to put your adhesive. And then center it up and glue it in. And you're going to do that on the top and again on the bottom. And we are going to put a little magnetic feature in here, but I'll get to that in a minute. And then these are just the liners. These are cut from the Christmas Nostalgia, and these are just 5 3/8 inch square. And I just like the contrast of these patterns together. It's just, they just really flow together very, very well, I think. And it's kind of fun to mix and match. So this goes in, it's just got a narrow little margin around the sides. So glue that in. All right. And now you look like this. And this one obviously goes down here. It's the same as this one. So these are both facing you and these are to the side. All right, let's put this little waterfall. This is just a simple waterfall. I cut the 3x4 images out of both the Graphic 45 and the, oops, I got these on the wrong side, and the Maja design papers, and get these lined up. Then I cut a 3 3/4 by 4 1/4 scored 1/2 inch flap on the side. And these are just going to go down. This one, the flap is on the right because we want it to go this way. So we're just going to put our adhesive. I didn't do a kinetic waterfall or anything super fancy. We're going to center this up so that the margins at the top and the bottom are about the same, but it goes all the way over to the edge. And just press that down, then flip it open. And you have room on the back for your photos. Looks good. Super easy and so cute. And then you've got room back here. I'll probably put a journal card or something right there. So that side, this side is done exactly the same way, only this time the hinge is on the left. So you're just going to work from the left in. So that's super easy. And then I want to show you how to make this little, this is our hidden pocket. So this is that piece that we scored, all right? And down here, I've added, I believe this is 5 1/4 by 3 3/4, and then I just put a little border strip on the bottom. And this is 5 1/4, and I want to say this was 2 3/4, but I'll put those measurements below. And I want to show you how to place these magnets. And we'll work on this part in a minute. I'm not ready to do that yet. So here's our pieces. Five 1/4 by 2 1/2 and 5 1/4 by, it looks like it should be 3 3/4. Okay. So up here, before, I'm going to pull this down so you can see, I've placed my magnet. And that's going to go right there. And I put adhesive on top of it just to help keep it in place. And on the top flap, we're going to put our plaid pattern. We're just going to center it up. You could actually go 2 3/4 with that if you wanted to. All right. And on the bottom, we're going to put this pretty poinsettia. I love these colors together, and I love that these two collections work together as well as they do. And then I've got this little 5 1/4 inch border strip so that it looks the same as the one on the bottom. All right. So then your other magnet is going to want to go, I'll show you, that's not hooked down, but because you have a magnet here, it's going to go right to that other magnet. And when you pull the liner off, these are basic gray large magnetic discs, which I'm not sure if you can even get these anymore. I used to get them at Joann's. I think Country Craft Creations had a bunch of them at one point, and you might be able to find them on Amazon. I bought a ton of them before Joann's went out of business. All right. And I'm not going to put this other piece of tape down until we get ready to do the next step, which is a couple of different little pop-up elements here, which is going to be really cute. I decided I wanted a closure on this waterfall, so I created this little magnetic belt, and now we can just, you know, now everything stays in there neat and tidy. So this snowman is an image from the Maja design paper, and it's a 3x4, and I just put the frame over it. First I painted the edges of the frame with a little bit of off-white paint and spattered it to give it that snowy look, and it just kind of makes it look a little more organic. So you can see I have one for this side and we have one for this side. I'm going to show you how to do it over here. So you're going to start out by cutting a 5 1/2 by 1 1/2 inch piece of your blue cardstock. To get this placed where I want it, the long side is going to go here, and this is scored at, I think it's 3 inches, 3 1/4 inches. I'm going to flip this open, do these like this, then I'm going to turn this flap, and I'm going to come in with a little bit of adhesive and just glue this down. I'm trying to keep it exactly straight where I want it to be. I'm going to flip it over like that. And see, now our belt will come around like this, just the way we want it to. So flip this open. Now we have to place our magnet. Oops. There it is. And I want this to be placed right about here on my paper. And then I'm going to bring this over like this. So I'm flipping this front page. And see how that goes to it. Let me try to get the positive, it'll be better. There, see, I want this sticky side up. So we know those are matched up. Now we can peel this piece off. Fold this front flap over. We have our magnet so that it matches up. And I'm just going to I'm going to go get some score tape and cover those over, and then I'll show you the next step. If I seem a little disorganized, I'll let you in on what's going on in my life. I try not to talk about myself, but this is something that y'all probably really do need to know. And that is that I am waiting for a hip replacement surgery. So I'm only able to stand for very limited periods of time. And what I have to do is jump between my sit-down desk and my stand-up desk to do these videos. And sometimes I forget to grab things from the other desk and I have to go back and get them. So I should be getting the surgery pretty soon. I'm just waiting to get the final clearance. And then I'll have a little bit of a recovery period. I'm hoping it's not going to affect my ability to share tutorials with you. But that is what is going on. So if I seem a little bit disorganized or whatever, that's what it is. It's I just have to get through this season. All right, so we've got our score tape down, and I cut a little 3x4 piece of the snowflake paper here to cover over the magnet so that you never see the magnet. It's like magic. Now we can take this piece off, this liner piece off, and glue this little 3" by 1 1/4 inch diagonal stripe on the inside of our belt, like that, and close our belt. And this is a border strip from the Deck the Halls. And we're going to glue this down. It's also 3 by 1 1/4. And we're going to do like this. And now we come in with our little snowman. I've got a pop dot on the back to hold him in place. And we're going to center him over our 3x4 card and just press him into place. So see, now he lifts, this flips, and then to cover this up, I cut this little piece. This is the Maja design. This is 2 3/4 by 5. So it kind of gives you a journaling spot, or you can do a couple of little photos on here, but it just covers up that mechanism arm and everything looks really cool. So that is how you do that. And then I just took this little stamp from the Graphic 45. I don't know about you, but I love the way these two collections work together, and it gives you a really custom look. So now you see everything is placed, and you just turn your arm and it catches, and there's your cute little waterfall belts. Really fun. Now I want to show you what we're going to do with our little pull-out flaps that we scored. This is this little ditty down here on the bottom. I put the hearts along here as a border, and then I cut a border strip from the Graphic 45. I matted this little journal card from the 8x8 on a slightly larger piece of cardstock. Then this flips up, and this has a pop-out box on the inside with these two cute little stamps from the Christmas Nostalgia and the chipboard star, the die cut star from Graphic 45. Then this flips down and we have this wonderful pop-up element here. So I'm going to show you how to put this page together. Obviously, these two are going to look slightly different, but the procedure is the same. So let me pull this down to where we can reach it. Oh yeah, and then I almost forgot, our pull-out page. This is 4 3/4, and I went 9, and then I scored in half at 4 1/2. I matted this pretty plaid because I'm actually liking the red in with the blue, and this is 4 1/2 by 4 1/4. And then I took, this is from one of the cut apart pages. This is a border piece that you cut around from the edge of the journal cards, and I trimmed this, of course, to 4 1/4. And we're going to glue this down on the bottom. Now, if you want to, you can do the hearts, which actually, that's what I'm going to do. It's super cute. This is super simple because I want this to be a place where you can add photos. So the cover is just going to be this little border and one of our nutcrackers. And I've put Button Farm Club pop dots on the back. You can pick those up at Button Farm Club. They're really good pop dots. So you have room for a small photo here, 2 nice size photos here, and you can even put a photo on the back. And then this slips into this pocket, and that completes this whole assemblage here. It's pretty cool, actually. And then pull this down, and we're going to start putting this one together. So we'll start with our pull-out page. This time we're going to put, of course, we're going to put our border down first. And I will have basic measurements and score lines written down in the description box below this video. It's not going to be a complete tutorial by any means, but I will tell you, you know, cut and score and all of that. And then you can use that as a companion with the video, and it will make it that you're not having to take notes all the way through this. So because he's on the right, we want to put him on the left. So that looks great. I'm just going to set these aside to make it a little bit easier for myself to work. So the first thing we're going to do across the top, you're going to cut this. It's almost 5.5. It's like just under 5.5 inch border piece. And then you're going to come in with these cute chipboard hearts. These are from the ephemera. I bought 2 ephemera packs. I have just learned over time that I love the ephemera packs, and I always end up using them all up and wish that I had more. So this time I went ahead and just bought 2 at the very beginning. And I'm centering this up. We're going to have to trim the edges off and see. I want to make sure it's even on the back. So I'm just going to come in with my scissors, trim this overhang. And the reason you have to trim the overhang is so the box will close. Okay, so there's that all done. All right. And then below that, yeah, I forgot I tucked a bunch of stuff inside this little flap. Below that, we have this darling postcard, and we're just going to put adhesive on the top edge like that. Center this up on the page. Like that, and that part is done. This flips up, and we're going to make this little pop out feature here. Gather all my goodies. So I've cut a piece of, it's about 1.5. The width doesn't really matter, but this is 4 3/4 inches long. And I scored. This is the bottom. It has 2 1/2 inch score lines. And this is the top, and it has 2 1/2 inch score lines. But the difference is on the bottom, we have 2 pieces of tape. And to put this in, we're going to flip this. We're going to fold this flap down, and we're going to center this up right at the fold. So even on the sides, as even as you can be. And then remove your sticky tape. Hold it in place. I'm just going to lift this up to make sure I'm straight. You don't want to go over the fold, but you want to be as close to the fold as you can. And I'm going to fold that flap down. Okay? So now we look like this. Now I'm going to take this tape off. And again, I'm going to fold this flap down. So now we look like this, all right? We're going to fold this up. Here's our tape, and we're going to fold this down, and then this picks up. So there's our pop-out mechanism. And then we just take our adhesive, we put it on the center portion, we center and adhere our little nutcrackers right there. Then below that, we're going to take a snowman on this side. And our poinsettia on the other, and these are from Christmas Nostalgia. And then in between the two, we're going to put this sweet little candy cane heart. This is from the ephemera pack. Isn't that darling? That looks so cute. So that finishes that off. Now, we're going to fold this down. And down here at the bottom, we have this Jolly Holiday. This is a border strip. And this is just a tick over 5 1/4. It's not quite 5 3/8, but it's close. Actually, what I do is I lay the border strip down, I mark it with a pencil where I want to cut, and then I cut it. And that way I end up with things the way I want them. All right, let me pull this down. We're going to start. Here's our magnet, remember? So I've taken this beautiful door. I put pop dots top and bottom. Our magnet is in the center. We're going to remove the liners from our pop dots, and we're going to center this up between these two doors and press it in place. Then I'm going to come in with this beautiful floral arrangement, and I just want to kind of tuck it in. I always forget to poke out these little chads. There we go. So I'm going to tuck this in and turn it just like that. I'm going to take this one and tuck it in on the other side. Like that. And then our pine cones are going to come in like this. So that's our background. Now we're ready to start adding our shaker elements. So I'm going to start with this Christmas tree ephemera piece. And for this one, I've cut a piece of 1 1/4 by 4 inch patterned paper, and I scored it at 1, 2, and 3. Then you fold on the scored lines, and you want this to look like a gatefold, you know, like this, and put your tape down. Switch it so that it's like this. Peel this tape off the back, and here's our fold. So I want this to be to the left of the door, and I'm going to line this piece up right here. Then I'm going to pull off my sticky tape and fold this, and there's our pop-up box, okay? So now we can take our Christmas tree, and we want this to sit up a little bit high. So I'm just going to put my adhesive right here at the top of this mechanism. And I'm going to put my tree right here, just like that, okay? I'm going to let that set up before I go moving stuff around. But see, now this will pop up. So this is a 1/2 inch by 2, and I'll show you the quick and easy way to do these. Fold it in half, then take this end, fold it back to the fold, take this end, fold it back to the fold, all right? And now you're going to make your little book, your little gate like this, and your score tape goes on these. And I happen to have one that's already made, so we're just going to use this. Turn it like this so that the open part is at the top. Take the sticky tape off the back. Find your fold, and I want this to be right centered with the door because I want it to look like he's standing guard at the front door. So I'm going to put that down. I'm going to remove this sticky tape, and I'm actually going to kind of fold that up because I don't want that tape to stick to my Christmas tree. If I'd put him in first, which you can, you wouldn't have had to deal with that. So now I'm just going to put adhesive just on his feet like that and glue him down on that front face. So see now what happens? He's standing up and it looks like he's guarding the front door. That's really fun. All right, so now somewhere, we have this Christmas stocking. And this one is a 1/2 inch by 4. And you score it 1, 2, and 3. So again, we've got our little gate, and we're going to turn it like this. We're going to take the tape off the back. We're going to find our fold. And I want this to be right here, okay? I'm going to remove the tape from the front half. And fold this down. See, there it is. And now we can glue our stocking. Let's glue it. Yeah, we just want to put our adhesive here and along the heel, like that. So I'm kind of doing it at an angle because I don't want to cover up. I don't want to cover up my nutcracker. All right, that looks good. All right, so close it and open it, and there we go. There's our stocking. That is super cute. And it will do better as that glue sets. It takes a minute for the glue to set. That one's a little big. Yeah, let's put one over here, and I'm just going to put a little dot. That one's too big. I'm going to put a little dot of glue right here at the heel. And this is the way it is with pop-ups. You just kind of have to build it as you go and eyeball it and look at it and think, do I like this? Do I want it more like that? That's kind of how the process works. I'm going to take this one and cut it in half. And I'm going to put half of it coming out from behind my stocking. Oops, I did it on the wrong side. Isn't that pretty? And I'm going to put the other half coming out from behind our tree. Pretty, pretty. Okay. Let's put one right here, going that way. And let's take another one right here, going that way. And this just covers up the base of our pop-up. And then let's take this one and put it right in the middle. It almost looks like a Christmas tree skirt. It's really cute. All right. So now I'm going to fold this down. And I'm going to take All Is Calm, All Is Bright, and put it right in the middle. Just like that. Okay? Only straight. And that finishes, that's how you do that pop-up. And this slides in behind here. So I'm going to make a dimensional feature here in the center. So here we are, friends, all finished up. I just did a little floral arrangement on the front. These are all handmade flowers. And I added in some little greenery sprays and die cut greenery. Everything was brushed with Dry's Clear adhesive and sprinkled with ultrafine pearl glitter glass from Rene Bouquets. Got a little jingle bell cluster up here. These little gumdrops, so cute. They just add a nice little bit of sparkle. And then I added a little cluster of a pine cone, snowflake, and mini jingle bell. Here's the front. I put this star banner across the top, altered this resin frame. This is an old Melissa Francis. A little blue bow. This is really reasonable ribbon and another handmade flower. And the way I did the frame was I sprayed it with speckled egg distress oxide, let that dry, and then I came back with a silver metallic wax and just rubbed it over with my finger. A few little Spellbinders essential gems in the frame to mimic snowflakes. Now I had to add some feet because the frame on the front is dimensional, and I'll show you when you open the box, like the box wouldn't open. So these are little wood slices that I just think it looks really cute. I actually love it. Little wood slices that I glued together on the bottom. So we've got little wood feet. Whoops, there goes the lid. And I'll just go ahead and open it so you can see. See, now it will fall open. And in the center, I had this little cloche. I picked this up when Melissa Francis was going out of business, and I'm going to tip this so you can see. I did some Tim Holtz deer that I stained with alcohol inks. This is ginger and espresso. I added some reindeer moss. You can pick that up at Michael's around the base of another one of these little wood rounds. A teeny tiny handmade poinsettia. And then I brushed the bottle brush tree pretty heavily with Dry's Clear adhesive and then added more of that pretty pearl glitter to it. A little bow at the top with a gumdrop, and I put string around the base just to, that was where I could put more adhesive to hold this, and it just kind of covers up the little adhesive mess. I couldn't figure out any other way to do that. I used super glue to adhere the glass to the base. So that, my friends, so see, now it will open out. Like if you wanted to put this out, this will open out for display, which is nice. But if you just wanted to look like a little gift box on a side table, you just fold up the sides. Slip on the lid, and you're good to go. So that is this week's Wonderful Wednesday tutorial with graphic 45 Deck the Halls and Maja Design Christmas Nostalgia. I'll put a linked supply list on my blog and a link to my blog in the description box below this video. And I'll put basic measurements there, not a complete tutorial by any means, but just enough so that you can get going on this. But I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I'll be back soon with another Ghost of Christmas Past. I've got some doctor's appointments this week, so it's going to limit my time in the studio. But I'll be back soon. And thanks for joining me. Kathy Clement, Kathy by Design. Go get your craft on. Bye.
Dashing through the snow with a one-horse open sleigh. O'er the fields we go, laughing all the way. Bells on bobtail ring, making spirits bright. What fun it is to ride and sing a sleighing song tonight. Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh.